We are working on we're focusing on our solar plexus, which is um, this bundle or plexus, like a grouping of nerves between your stomach and your aorta. So the main artery that runs downward from your heart to the rest of your um, smaller arteries going out into your body. So the solar plexus, in the understanding of chakras that I have, is associated with strength, but also with personal power and willpower. So it's not just physical strength. It's not just having a really strong core, Um, it's associated with also having uh, a strong sense of self and willpower. So lying on your back is where we're starting today, and find whatever version of reclining works for you. So if you need to bend your knees, plant your feet on the floor, or put any pillows or things underneath you for the moment, go ahead and get yourself comfortable for the next few moments while we just kind of take a second to check in. With your back on the floor, take your palms to your belly, to the area just between your belly button and your breastbone. So in between your navel and your sternum, just under your ribs. That's about where the solar plexus lives, kind of more toward your core of your body, more into the middle part. It's not right on the surface, but just laying your hands there might help to kind of bring some awareness into that part of the body. I find that helpful anyway. Draw your awareness now to your breath. And just begin noticing where it lands in your body today. It's okay if it's not landing in your solar plexus area. If you're feeling it somewhere else, that's totally fine. Notice the tempo and the rhythm. Maybe you begin to notice if your inhale or your exhale, if one of them is longer than the other. Also, not right or wrong, just something to notice. Draw your attention now to your mind. Noticing if thoughts are coming up, what kinds of thoughts they are, if they're repetitive or if they're cycling through. And for today's class in particular, if you would like to set an intention for class, I think that tying into willpower and personal strength and confidence, I think that having an intention might be um, a pretty useful tool for this class in particular, but that's up to you. Maybe you don't feel like it today. Totally fine. That is your personal strength, your personal choice, your personal willpower to decide if it's something you want to do today. When you're ready, bring the soles of your feet to the floor. You can take them wide to start if you'd like. Stretch your arms overhead on the floor. And then let your knees wobble side to side, just gently loosening things up little by little. And then bring your knees back up to center. Walk your feet back in line with your hips, just about hips distance. Take your hands up over your shoulders. So just your hands up in the air, straight out in front of you, with palms facing inward toward each other, like you're about to clap your hands. And then bring your feet off the floor so that your knees are just on top of your hips and your ankles line up with your knees. You can kind of glance down and look to see if you're all stacked up, if you'd like to. Begin to notice just that little bit of activation that we need to pull our feet off the floor, to lift our knees toward our chest, just that little bit. Not quite pulling them into the belly, even just getting them off the floor starts to activate our belly muscles, our core muscles. Now we're going to try one side at a time. Extend your right leg out straight toward the end of your mat and extend your right hand, same side, out overhead toward the floor. And then pull them back to where they started. So back, leg back to knee over hip and hand back over shoulder. Try that on your left side. Extend left leg, left hand, left arm, I guess, out over your head and out to the end of your mat. Draw them back to where they started. And now continue alternating sides. And if you'd like, maybe you glance down at your legs as you're moving them to see what your knee is doing as you move. Continue alternating sides one at a time. Go at your own pace. Feel free to go faster or slower than I am. Just focusing on what parts of your body have to activate to move these muscles and bones around. What's activating, what's compressing, what's stretching open. Try one more round, so one more on each side, just even yourself out. Then draw your knees into your chest, give them a hug. Maybe roll yourself a little from side to side. And then come to center with your hands around your legs still. Lift your head, neck, and shoulders off the floor and give yourself a little bit of a tighter hug so you're pulling yourself into a ball. When you're ready, let go of your legs. Plant your feet on the floor. Take your arms overhead on the floor. Dig your heels in. Lift your hips off the floor. So we're doing kind of like a modified bridge with our hands over our head. So press your shoulders back, dig your heels in, lift your hips off the floor. And then on your exhale, lower your spine back down to the floor. Pull your knees into your chest again, wrap your arms around, pull your head up off the floor. coming into this like egg shape. You're closing everything up. Inhale, press your feet into the floor, hands overhead. Dig your heels in, lift your hips. Bridge. Exhale to lower and curl yourself back into a ball. Take a few more rounds of that at your own pace. Inhaling your body open. Exhaling your body closed. Front body, I guess. Closing up the front body, not the back body. Last one. Come into that egg shape. End with your hands overhead, feet on the floor, hips in the air. And then lower your spine back to the earth. Take your knees up into your chest again. Just roll onto your right side so that your legs come down to the floor. And then take your top hand, your left hand, and roll your shoulders back open toward the floor. I might have said, I don't know if I gave you a side. Actually, it doesn't matter if you come to one side or the other. We're just coming into a twist. So legs to one side, turn your face and your arm, opening your heart away to the other side. Shoulders coming back toward the floor. Starting to twist into that solar plexus region, the area between your belly button and your chest bone, your breastbone. All right, come back to center whenever you're ready. And then come to the other side. So let the legs bring you all the way to the other side. It's okay if your whole torso comes with you. Just peel your shoulders back open toward the floor, rolling your chest back open toward the sky. Maybe turning your gaze away from your feet, away from your legs. And roll yourself back onto your back whenever you're ready. Take your hands just behind your knees and begin to rock yourself up to seated. Feel free to take a couple rocks and rolls or just come up to seated whenever you're ready. When you arrive, plant your feet on the floor and give your knees as much space as they need. If you like having your knees up really close to you, that's fine. If you want to kind of walk your feet out away from you, that's fine too. Find your sit bones and plant them on the floor. Grow your spine up tall out of your seat. And think about that solar plexus area of your body again. So in between belly button and ribs, right in here. You can take your hands now to the floor on either side of you, maybe right behind your knees, your choice. Just begin to tip your spine backward and see if you can do this without kind of curling your spine back toward the floor. Almost like you're just trying to hinge at your hip joint straight backward. So your spine is still long. You're sitting your sit bones into the earth still. And you're just tipping yourself backwards so you feel those belly muscles activate right in that solar plexus area. You might also feel it in your thighs, in your hip flexors. I certainly do. If you'd like now, maybe you lift a foot off the floor, maybe you lift both feet. That activates leg muscles a little bit more. Maybe you extend your legs in the air. Maybe you keep feet on the floor today and just work on that length through your spine. Wherever you land, take one more breath. And then pull yourself back up to seated. Take your shins, flip them around, and come right into tabletop. So hands on the ground, shins on the ground, tops of the feet down. tabletop. Take a few rounds of cat and cow now. So as you inhale, open your heart forward, drop your belly, pull your chest through your arms, lift the backs of your hips. And then on your exhales, pull your spine up through your back toward the sky, pulling your belly muscles up into your spine as you do that. So try that a few times. Inhale, pull the belly forward toward the floor. Exhale, pull the belly up into the spine. Last round, ending in cat. And then pull your spine back to neutral. Curl your toes under. Lift your knees off the floor and begin to walk your hands back towards your feet. Exhale, coming to forward fold. Feel free to take your feet wide here if you'd like to, and just kind of let yourself hang. Let your torso hang, maybe clasp your elbows, bend your knees, and let your torso swing a little bit from one side to the other, if you like that. Release your head, your neck, your jaw. When you're ready, let go of your elbows. Plant your feet on the floor. Take your palms now to your legs, maybe to the back sides of your calves, to the back of your legs, maybe just to the sides. Just give yourself something to hold. When you're ready now, we're going to bend and extend our knees little by little. So just taking your legs in your hands, feeling out the muscles on the bones, feeling out what's activating as you move, and just gently bending and extending your knees little by little. It's okay if you don't even come close to straight with your knees. Just kind of loosening up the joints. Bend and extend, bend and extend. And now take your hands to the fronts of your legs. On your next inhale, press yourself to halfway lift. So hands on legs, press your spine long, tailbone back, crown of the head forward. Notice that solar plexus region of your body, kind of activating just to hold you long. Crown of the head forward, tailbone back. On your exhale, come back to forward fold. Dig your heels in. Roll your spine all the way to standing. Inhale, sweep palms overhead and stretch your spine long. Exhale, palms together to heart center. Inhale, sweep your palms overhead. Exhale, swan dive back to forward fold. Inhale, come to halfway lift. Exhale, bend your knees, walk yourself to plank toward the front of your mat, and you can choose to put knees down or knees up, your choice. Once you arrive, take a moment here, settle into your plank, roll your shoulders down your back, pull your heart forward through your arms, press your tailbone back toward your heels. Take one more breath. On your exhale, pull your navel to your spine, point your elbows toward your heels, bend your elbows, come to the floor. On your inhale, press yourself up into a back bend of your choosing. Any amount of back bend is great. Exhale, up and back, lift your hips. Come back to child's pose or downward dog. So child's pose with shins down on the floor, or downward dog with hips up in the air, shins up off the floor. Take one more round of breath. Feel that strength in your core, in your shoulders, in your legs. On your exhale, begin to walk your hands back towards your feet. Forward fold. On your next inhale, press to halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Dig your heels in, roll your spine up to standing. Inhale, palms overhead. Exhale, palms to heart center. Inhale, palms overhead. Exhale, swan dive back to forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, bend your knees, walk yourself out to plank. Use your belly muscles, keep your spine nice and long. Knees up or down. Exhale, elbows point backward, lower yourself to the floor, chaturanga to the earth. Inhale to your back bend. Exhale, up and back to downward dog or child's pose. Press the hips back. Press the belly toward the thighs. Bend your knees if you like. When you're ready, walk your hands back toward your feet one more time. Inhale, come to halfway lift. I might have lied, we might do that another time. Exhale, forward fold. Roll yourself all the way to standing. Inhale, palms overhead. Exhale, palms to heart center. Inhale, palms overhead. Exhale, swan dive back to forward fold. Inhale, come to halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, walk yourself out to plank. Nice and strong through the core. Exhale, chaturanga to the floor, elbows bend. Inhale, upward dog, cobra, your back bend. Exhale, up and back. Child's pose, downward dog, your choice. And take 2 rounds of breath. On the next inhale, bend your knees. Last time, for real, walk your hands back to your feet. Come to forward fold. Inhale, come to halfway lift. Exhale, dig your heels in, rise to standing. Inhale, palms overhead. Exhale, palms to heart center. And pause here. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel your spine growing up nice and tall. Feel your belly supporting your spine. And then this is your choice. You can keep palms together at your heart, or you can open your palms out to the side. Whichever feels more powerful for you. Whichever feels like it helps you feel more grounded in where you are, more confident in who you are. And take 1 more round of breath here, maybe 2, and check in with your intention. Check back in if you set an intention. If you'd like, you can close your eyes for a moment. Maybe visualize whatever your intention is just ahead of you. When you're ready, take 2 or 3 very purposeful steps to the front of your mat, stepping toward your intention. You can open your eyes to do that if you'd like. All right. On your next inhale, sweep your palms back overhead. Exhale, come to forward fold. Inhale, press to halfway lift. Exhale, bring your hands to the floor, bend both knees. Lift your right foot off the floor, stand on your left foot, left leg, nice and strong. Kick your heel towards your glute, lift that knee up in the air. Extend the foot long toward the sky. Inhale. Exhale, float that flying leg to the back of your mat and tap the toes down. Nice, awesome. Bend into both knees, put some weight into both feet, and when you're ready, lift yourself up to standing. Use those nice strong leg muscles. Bring yourself up nice and tall. Take your hip bones and make sure they're pointing straight ahead and that they're not too far forward or too far backward. Stack your spine up tall on top of your hips. So your heart is over your hips, head is over heart. On your inhale, sweep your palms up into the air. On your exhale, right hand forward, left hand back, twist. Woo! My balance is off a little bit today. On your inhale, flip your right hand to the sky, the front hand, and reach up and back. So we're doing an open twist with a bit of a back bend. Inhale. Exhale, back to twist. Inhale, palms overhead. Exhale, open to warrior two. So we're rotating our hips toward the long edge of the mat-ish. Mine are still on an angle, so I'm just going to take my chest and rotate it toward the long edge. Back foot is down and about parallel to the back edge of your mat. Grow your arms right out of your shoulders. And take 1 or 2 breaths here, just feeling your spine supported by that belly section that we've been talking about. On your inhales, can you grow your spine a little bit taller? On your exhales, can you root your spine a little more into your legs, root your hips downward into the earth? On your next inhale, flip your front palms skyward. Reach up and back, straighten out your front leg. Reverse triangle. On your next exhale, come to warrior two. Bending into the front knee. Reach forward on your inhale. Exhale, forearm to thigh or maybe hand inside foot. Take that top arm into some air guitar circles if you'd like. Open up that shoulder. And then reach that palm way overhead. And if you'd like this time, if you'd like to take a little bit of a bind, you can take this top hand, roll your shoulder up and back, and just reach the back of your hand for your low back. Maybe reach around your low back and try to grab for the opposite hip, kind of grabbing underneath yourself. If full bind is in your practice and you want to do the whole wrap around your leg, go for it. I'm not going to go there today, but by all means, if that's your thing, go for it. Take one more breath here. When you're ready, release your bind, come back to warrior two, and then rotate yourself to warrior one. So we haven't done this one in my class in a long time. Hips are going to rotate toward the front of your mat again. Back foot is going to turn in a little bit on an angle. So it's not quite parallel to the back edge of our mat. I'm just moving so maybe you can see my feet. Kind of on a somewhere between 90 and 45 degrees angle for people that are geometry folks. Hips are facing more or less toward the front edge of your mat, similar to the high lunge, but the heel is down. And if high lunge is more comfortable for you, please, by all means, come onto your toes if this is really not a comfortable place for your ankle. When you're ready, inhale, grow your arms overhead. Exhale, extend your front leg. Inhale, grow yourself up tall. Exhale, hinge at your hips. If you'd like, you can actually take your hands to your hips to do this. Come forward with your hips so that your spine follows toward that front leg. Come as far as is comfortable for you, and then bring your hands down to somewhere that feels supportive. If you'd like to grab your blocks and place them on either side of your leg, go right ahead. As you come down, can you find that length through your spine? As always, if this knee, I encourage at least a micro bend in this knee. If you need to give it a really deep bend to start, give yourself what you need today. Hips backward, crown of the head forward. Find that length through your belly, through your spine. With your inhales, find length. With your exhales, maybe bring your belly a little bit closer toward your thigh. Maybe not. Take one more breath here. When you're ready, keep your right hand down. Left hand rotates up toward the sky. So we're coming into a twist, twisted pyramid. And then bring that left hand back to the floor. Bend into your front knee, lift your back heel so you're back on your toes, and step yourself forward to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Take a moment here. Inhale, come to halfway lift. Exhale, dig your heels in, rise to standing. Inhale, grow yourself up tall, grow your hands into the sky. Exhale, palms together at heart center. Check back in with your intention, if you set one. Inhale, grow your palms overhead. Exhale, swan dive to forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, bend your knees, stand on your right leg. Lift your left foot off the floor, bend the knee, kick your heel towards your glute. Lift the kneecap toward the sky. Extend the leg in the air. Take one more breath. Find a little bit of strength pressing up from the ground into that flying foot. On your exhale, bend your standing leg. Float your flying foot to the back of your mat. Bend both knees. Find a little strength and balance between your 2 feet. When you're ready, lift yourself up to high lunge. Hips point straight ahead. Spine stacks up nice and tall on top of your hips. Grow your arms up into the sky. Inhale. Exhale. Left hand forward. Right hand back. Twist. Inhale. Flip that front palm to the sky. Reach up and back. Take a little bit of a back bend. On your next exhale, come back to twist. Inhale, open up, lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, open to warrior 2. Take a second to settle in. I'm just flipping so I can see you. Here we go. Back heel down, back foot about parallel with the back edge of your mat. Front knee is bent. Hips are opening side to side. Take your chest, rotate it toward the long edge of your mat, and grow your arms right out over your legs. On your inhale, flip your front palm to the sky. Reach up and back. Straighten out that front leg. Reverse triangle. Exhale, back to warrior 2 when you're ready. Inhale, reach your torso forward, forearm to thigh or hand inside leg. Top arm can do some guitar circles, opening up that shoulder. And then grow that arm straight out to the front of your mat overhead. And now if you'd like to take that bind on this side, roll your shoulder up and back, take your hand to your low back, or maybe wrap it around your back to the opposite hip. Take one more breath here. Use your exhale to pull your belly muscles into action and pull yourself back up to warrior two. Awesome. When you're ready, let's come to warrior one. So rotating that back foot inward on an angle, turning your hips toward the front of your mat. Inhale, grow your palms up overhead. So stack your spine up tall, hands into the sky. On your exhale, extend that front leg, unbending the knee. Take your hips and tip them forward on your next exhale. If you'd like to take hands to hips, go ahead. Hands to hips if you'd like. Hips coming toward thigh. And bring the hands down, maybe to the floor, maybe to blocks, maybe to your leg, if that's good. Just don't put too much pressure right on your knee joint directly, maybe on your shin, or maybe on your thigh is fine. Pull your tailbone back, pull the crown of your head forward. On your inhales, find that length through your spine, and on your exhales, maybe bring belly to thigh just a little bit at a time. Take one more round of breath. When you're ready, bend into that front leg. Come onto your toes of your back foot and step your back foot forward. Inhale, come to halfway lift. Exhale back to forward fold. Dig your heels in, rise to standing. Inhale, sweep your palms overhead. Exhale, palms together at heart center. Check back in with how things are doing. Inhale, sweep your palms back overhead. Exhale, swan dive back to forward fold. Inhale, come to halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, step yourself back to tabletop, and then lower yourself all the way onto the floor, onto your belly. Let your head rest, maybe putting your hands under your forehead, maybe turning to one side of to one cheek, turning your head to one side. Take your right foot, curl the toes under, press the heel back, extend that leg, maybe lifting the leg bones off the floor as you do that. Just kind of getting some length through the front of your hips, one at a time. So extend your right leg, lay the leg back down, top of the foot comes back down. Try that on the left side, so curl the toes under, press the leg bones backward. Opening up the front of the hip a little bit, lay the leg bones back down, top of the foot back down. When you're ready, take your right leg up and out to the right. So this frog leg shape, it's about a 90-ish degree angle at your knee joint. Knee is about in line with your hip. And then take yourself into a little bit of a back bend. So pressing yourself up onto forearms for a moment. Bend your left foot off the floor now. Bend your left knee. Take your right hand, reach up and back for that left foot. And if the foot is too far, feel free to use a strap or just opt out of the foothold entirely. Totally up to you on how you're feeling today. Take a second to get yourself set up if you need to, and then lower yourself back onto the floor. Maybe kind of tuck, just a prep, maybe tuck your left arm under your chest so it's out of your way when you roll. And then roll yourself onto your left side, coming into cat pulling its tail. And if you'd like, maybe you turn your chin toward your right shoulder. A little bit of twist, a little bit of hip opener. Take one more breath. And come out the way you came in. Rolling back towards your belly. Let go of your foot. Bring your legs back down toward the end of your mat. Come onto your belly. Let's try the other side now. So left leg up and out to the left. On the floor. In that bent kind of frog leg position. Half frog. Press yourself up to forearms now. Bend your right knee. If you'd like to grab your foot, take your left arm, left hand, reach up and back for that right foot, right shin, right ankle. Maybe using your strap if you want to, or just not bothering with the leg pull today if that's what works better for you. Lower yourself back toward the floor. Maybe tuck your arm underneath a little bit so it's not in your way, and then roll onto your side. Maybe turn your chin toward your left shoulder. Take one more round of breath. And when you're ready, go ahead and come out the way you came in. Rolling back toward your belly, letting go of your foot, extending both feet long on the floor. We'll be coming to our backs next, so if you would prefer to reorient yourself so that your head is at the opposite end of your mat, go ahead and get up and reorient. If you're okay with just flip-flopping yourself like a pancake, go ahead and do that. Excuse me. So coming back onto your back, right where we started. Take your legs up into the air for a moment. Any amount of lift is fine. They don't have to be straight, like your knees don't have to be super straight or unbent. Just lifting your feet off the floor, letting your blood flow the opposite direction for a moment. We'll be here for a couple more breaths. So if you like this and you want to come up a little higher, you can stick your hands behind your hips. You can lift onto a blanket or a block. Totally up to you. When you're ready, bend your knees, bring your feet back to the floor. If you brought yourself up onto a block or a blanket, move it out of your way. And let's take one more bridge pose. Plant your feet on the floor. Give that a little bit of intention. Find a little strength in your legs. Press your shoulders back into the floor. Maybe press your hands into the earth or bend your elbows and press your upper arms backward. Dig your heels in and lift your hips off the floor any amount. Take one more breath. Maybe lift your hips higher if that feels good. And on your exhale, lower your spine, one vertebra at a time, back to the earth. Unstick the soles of your feet from your mat and let your knees start to wobble from one side to the other. Maybe letting your legs kind of extend toward the bottom of your mat as you go. My feet really make funny noises on the slippery floor now. And we're coming into Shavasana. So our final resting pose. If you don't like lying flat on your back, make any adjustments that feel better for you. Maybe bend your knees. If lying on your side is more comfortable or propping yourself up is better for you, this is your choice. It's all you now. So find whatever works best for you. Maybe add socks or a blanket if you're cold. Let yourself settle here. Check in with your physical body. Notice sensations internally, externally. Notice the sensation of the floor beneath you, of fabric on your skin, of breath in your lungs. If you'd like to bring your hands back to your belly, you're more than welcome to. You don't have to. Check back in with your mind. Again, beginning to notice any patterns of thoughts. Seeing if you can be the observer of your own mind. Noticing what comes up without having to hold on to it or give it a name. Just kind of acknowledging it and maybe letting it pass if it will. And if you did set an intention at the beginning of class, or if you'd like to set one now, if you hadn't before, that's fine too. Take a moment to focus on your intention. Checking in with body, mind, spirit. And take the next few moments just to keep checking in. When you're ready, you begin coming out of Shavasana. Start with your breath, taking deeper inhales and exhales, maybe wiggling fingers and toes if you'd like. Then roll yourself to one side whenever you're ready, just to let your practice settle into your body. Let your intention settle. Before pressing yourself up to seated whenever you're ready. When you arrive at seated, ground your sit bones downward, grow your spine up tall. And on an inhale, sweep your palms overhead. Exhale, palms together down to heart center. And if you'd like to, maybe take a gentle bow to your body, your mind, your classmates. Thank you very much for showing up today. Take very, very good care of yourselves.